So just a phone says I've only got 22 minutes left to record. Actually, I better check out the battery life. Is we still got plenty of charge. Anyway, so just a quick video on this Pearce-Simpson. I don't think I've ever done a video on this before, actually. So basically a junk parts radio. You can see we're missing selector and missing most of the crystals. It still works though. It transmits a bit, but I can't be because the selector's not here. It's really, and the front end's really deaf. Transmits, I don't think is working. Anyway, so crystal filter's actually missing. So I've got the crystal filter here. I've got another one I can put in there. Anyway, so yeah, so I want to say that when I got this, it was like this. I just got a cover for the top, but not for the bottom. Anyway, so you can see we've got, now I've just ignored my modifications here. There used to be a little thing down there. It's not going to be there anymore. Receive path, that's the relay, TXRX relay. Antenna goes in through there. That's our first slug. Goes into our amp there, so that amp's definitely fried. So he's definitely not amplifying, as you should. And then here we go, we threw these two slugs into a mixer down there, which is down there. And what I checked was the input signal sort of just stay the same. It wouldn't really have a gain or a loss over this amp here. And by the time we got to the mixer, it was obviously a low output from the mixer. And by the time we got, through the filter to our IF stages, it was really weak. And, S9 signal was about, S2, So, anyway, you can see I've cut the cable tie, done a bit of work to it. Anyway, that's beside the point. Let's try and get to focus. So I've sort of got some crystals, and I'm sort of if you flip it around, I'm sort of hardwired it on here, so you can see we've got, that's my selector there. And I've got to take this off, this jumper. Actually, the noise blanker circuit has a bit of attenuation in it as well, which needs to be fixed. But I'd probably say, yeah, we've got voltage, so it's definitely not the, it might be just, I haven't checked it yet, it might be just a voltage drop across the diodes, I'm not sure, but we have forward bias voltage. Anyway, so 12 volt side of things needs to be looked at on this thing, but for now I'm going to take that cap off because it's a filter. So we'll take the cap off. Anyway, and so we've got diode clamping there, so I don't know why the receiver's gone deaf, but anyway, I'll leave that on there. I've got to solder that back down. Before I do that, I'll check if the diodes are shorted on the 2D. I think I did, but I'm just going to double check. Now, it's been a while since I've worked on it, so just trying to think. That's the audio. No, it's not audio. Is it? I'm not sure. I think there's one on the other side. Anyway, a bit dark. You can't really see. It's a bit cloudy out here. But anyway, that's just what it is. Yeah. Okay. Well, now what? Oh, you can see some of the knobs here are missing, which is a bit of a pain. But especially this when you're trying to turn it on, you really got to get your nail in there and sort of. Yeah, it's anyway. Not too worried. So what I'll be doing is I'm going to be converting this to a wideband receiver and maybe even transmitter. That's transmitting is in the future, but we're basically just going to use the IF and the mixer and the rest of the circuit just to so we can do. Actually, I'm not going to be able to do AM, I don't think. Let me think. Yeah. Just trying to think if I can't remember the schematic exactly, but I think AM's different, so it might be a while till we get AM working. Anyway, we'll have the lower and upper sideband. So we will. I'm going to use the mixer that's still in here because I had some trouble with mixers in the past. I don't want to make another one. It's pretty fiddly getting the bias right and everything. There's just a bit of burn mark on that wire. Anyway, so what I'll do is I've got a little board here. It's actually still a bit warm. I just took some bits and bobs off it. Actually got a nice BC 255. No, 255. Anyway, got a nice little transistor off this. and I'll put that in the parts drawer. Last transistor I used for a mixer, I was out of an old Kenwood, and transistors out of old Kenwoods don't really work. Anyway, so I'll sort of put that up here. So actually there's a little shield that goes somewhere up here that goes over the mixer. I've got to put that back on, and then we'll just take directly from the output of the relay, which is where this copper wire is. I've just stuck it there to indicate that's our output, and we will just basically use that through our two MPF 102s, which I'll hook up dually, and I'll just use the RF gain pot here so we can sort of adjust. Anyway, so those two will go here, and then I'm just going to glue this somewhere. So that should be alright, and just feed that straight into the mixer then, and just skip all the transformers. So we basically converting this into a wideband receiver. I'll obviously have to. I'm actually just using my little Nano VNA as a signal generator here. I've got that as the other signal generator. Anyway, it just doesn't really matter which one I use, but just whatever. I've got, and you can see it's a mess in here. Anyway, like it normally is. Anyway, so here's so sort of part of the design for the. Let's try and get this thing to focus. So there's our input. What's that? To 10 NF nanofarad, and we've got that little. That's our first MPF 102. That's the second. That's the what I was using as a transistor. And that's a BC5. 528. I can't remember actually. 52 something. Anyway. I'm going to ditch that. I'm going to rebuild this. So this is just sort of for testing. And you can see I had a diode mixer I once built. Anyway, so that's just sort of testing, and I'm sort of just try and get these values right, and then we'll put him up in here, and then we'll, as I said, use the RF gain. Now the RF gain's a bit of a strange thing. If you draw a little bit of current from it, it just drops down. I don't know if that's the AGC. It won't be AGC because this thing doesn't have AGC. I don't think. It's just whatever you get. Anyway. I'll have to have a look at that more. As I said, if I put a little bit of load onto it, it just sort of seems to go that we don't get our 3.8 volts or whatever we're supposed to see. We see about nothing, but that's yet to be determined. I'm just trying to get this thing to focus, because this also controls the gain of the mixer as well. Not only the RF, well, not only what went used to go to the RFM. So anyway, actually I want to get this 10K pot. Now it's okay. Here it is. So that's the little 10K pot that used to you obviously just adjust it to your things linear, your amp. Anyway, another thing to put in the collection of bits and bobs, the ever so growing collection. Yeah. So that's the plan. So we'll do that, and I'll try and keep you updated. And then we'll get the 12 volt side of things working properly, and maybe even get the transmitter working, but it'll be output of the mixer into my own transmitter. And I was actually thinking using one of those Kodan. I've got a few, I don't know if you can see, I've got a few of them down there. If I hook up them and just hook them up, and I might get 100 watts out of this guy, but it'll be I'll have to, there's a lot of work before I get there, so I'm not getting too hopeful. Should I think? What's going on there? Oh, that's just on the camera what it looks like. Yeah, that wire's not going there. That's the filter here. I'll go put a little resistor back in and pull that out and put our 7.8 the IF is. So that also complicates things, because we've only got, it's not focusing. We only got one IF, so we have the high possibility of image interference. Anyway, I've got a few knobs here. Like, I'm not going to use this clarify ever, so I'm just trying to think. This PA thing, I'm going to get rid of that. Anyway, we'll sort of see. Yeah, so that's sort of what the plan is. There's something else I was going to say, but completely forgotten. Yeah. Anyway, nice little receiver. Might use an Arduino for the put a little display up here and for this thing. But for now, we're just trying to get it receiving and use a little VNA to sort of give us a frequency. So yeah, that's what's happening here. So we'll do our best to keep progress on as the project progresses. And a little dodgy soldering back there. Anyway, that's what's happening with the Pearce-Simpson at the moment.